While transgender rights are more discussed in the mainstream than ever before, many individuals remain unfamiliar with trans people, who they are, or the struggles they face. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 5 eye-opening facts about being transgender. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we are providing just a small glimpse into what it means to be transgender, as we explore some realities faced by members of this community.
A lot of what happens is they get made fun of because of how they present their gender and what people think that means about their sexuality.
Number 5. People believe that being transgender is relatively new. Individuals whose gender is different than the one designated at birth actually have a long history. A third gender, hydra, referring to those assigned male at birth but who are neither male nor female, can be traced back to ancient times in India. In ancient Rome, believers in the goddess Cybele underwent ritual castration, after which they would wear women's clothing. French figure Chevalier d'Eon is a well-documented example of someone coming out as transgender, although not by that term, in the 18th century. The famous American trans woman Christine Jorgensen became a public face of the trans community in the 1950s.
I mean, I'm not a different person. He and I are still the same person. But I don't think he would have been happy in life in that position.
Number 4. Transitioning doesn't only involve sex reassignment surgery. When a person makes the decision to transition, there is no standard procedure.
Some transgender people do undergo hormone therapy or sex reassignment surgery as part of their transition. Some do not. And interestingly, their decision on this matter is, medically speaking, none of your fucking business.
While a wealthy individual might be able to afford cosmetic and sex reassignment surgery, the prohibitive cost of these procedures makes such an approach impossible for most trans people. Some opt for hormone replacement therapy, which helps to readjust voice pitch or to help generate breast tissue. For others, transitioning may not involve any form of medical treatment. Ultimately, transitioning is about self-actualization.
I've given 5 years, $80,000 in my freedom for this. I'm finally who I'm supposed to be.
Unfortunately, this lengthy process also comes with various legal, social, professional, and interpersonal obstacles and challenges.
Both women were asked to remove all their jewelry, makeup, and wigs before the DMV would photograph them.
Number 3. Transgender people face healthcare and workplace discrimination. In 2011, the National Center for Transgender Equality and National LGBTQ Task Force published a national survey about transgender people and the medical system in the United States. This report shed light on the various ways in which transgender individuals face discrimination within the system, including physical and verbal assault.
The guy looked at it, he went through all of those steps, and then said, "So, do you dress full-time as a woman?"
Perhaps most shocking is the fact that 19% revealed they had been denied care as a result of being transgender. The survey also noted that 50% of all respondents had to explain transgender care to their healthcare professional.
I think that if I had had the same list of symptoms, but was a cisgendered man, I would have been treated completely differently.
While there have been efforts to protect against workplace discrimination, the problem persists. Number 2. The transgender community faces a higher suicide rate.
It's the violence that we do to ourselves when we're too afraid to be who we really are.
A 2014 study conducted by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and the Williams Institute reported that 4.6% of Americans have attempted suicide. In the transgender population, that figure is a terrifying 41%. While unchecked gender dysphoria can lead to depression, self-harm, or even suicidal thoughts, not all transgender people experience it. Suicide attempts are much more likely when a transgender person is the victim of discrimination, abuse, violence, or rejection by family or peers.
You could be killed at any time just for existing. That's a really heavy place to live in.
These are all common factors behind suicidal thoughts across all demographics. Transgender people are simply exposed to them more intensely and with greater regularity.
Young people like Leela Alcorn have to throw themselves in front of a truck rather than live their lives.
Number 1. Transgender people are the most likely targets of hate crimes. According to a 2015 FBI publication, people of the LGBTQ community are the most likely victims of hate crimes. Within that group, transgender people, specifically trans women of color, are the most likely to be targeted.
And a man came into a shower and raped me. And he had a razor blade.
As society grows more accepting and aware of the transgender community, those opposed seem to be growing more actively intolerant. The Human Rights Campaign stated more transgender people were killed in 2015 than any other year on record. But 2016 proved even more fatal for the transgender community.
The only time it really gets to me is if I suspect it's going to, there's a risk of it turning into a physical threat.
We hope this video helps shed light on the various issues affecting the LGBTQ and specifically the transgender community. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments section below.